ISO-8, we have the definitive guide, and I am joined by the ISO-8 expert, Remanx, and we got a bunch of information for you, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are ready to find out all about ISO-8, the basics, what to do with your roster, which characters you should be building up, you know what to do. Find that like button. Remanx, let them know in case they don't know.
Let's not ISO-hate it.
ValleyFlyin.
Woo! What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am ValleyFlyin, and I am joined by my brother Remanx, who is the resident ISO-8 expert in the community, getting a lot of help from many of the top players and compiling all this data, doing all the work that the community wants and needs right now. What is up, brother? How are you?
Hey, Valley, I'm doing well, man. Yeah, it's not me. It's a collaborative effort. I don't want to take credit for it. It was just it's everybody here.
I want
the
to
community.
give you credit for it. But you're the one that you're the one that's compiling all the data, getting it out to the community. So you deserve a lot of credit with this, brother. So yeah, shout out, guys. The links to his channel and everything is down below, and the link to his spreadsheet that he has put together, and it is a work in progress. It is updating as we speak, possibly. So let's just go talk about the basics real quick. Boom. First thing, ISO-8 basics. Now, I've been describing this as kind of like another system, a gear system to gear your characters because it's pretty linear. Once you get these leveled up, it's pretty easy to switch. Now, there is a cost once you get these characters up the first time, but pretty simple, pretty linear. How would you explain ISO-8 like in a nutshell to people that are kind of confused about this and kind of fearful of it right now?
I think it's just a little subclass and like a mastery system. So a lot of other games you may have been a part of where you can basically specialize into a different category. So this gear lets you kind of, as this new system lets you kind of do that. And so it adds a level of theory crafting. And I think I think it's like an adventure, and let's go down the road together.
Yeah, let's do it. And there's a lot of figuring this stuff out. And you guys are getting a lot of data. I know you're still finalizing a lot of stuff, but I guess we're going to go over some of the data that we have right now. Now, it is free to switch, but we're talking about some of the costs associated with this. Very easy at the lower levels. So as you can see, I got my healer up to level 2. If I want to go to Skirmisher, it's free to unlock all the level 1s. But if I wanted to go Skirmisher up to level 2, let me up this. There's a cost associated with it. It says 5,000 right there under thing. And then you pay that once. So once you pay that cost in your ions, you can do that as much as possible, as much as you want. This goes up to 15 at level 3. Level 4 goes up to 25,000 ions and 50,000 ions. So it gets pretty big as we get up there.
I was trying to say it gets prohibitive at the higher levels. So that's the reason why we're saying stick to level 1s, play around with what you guys like. We have some guidance because, again, with day 1, I think people are just scared of something new. And I think we help make it digestible.
Yeah, I think a lot of the work you're doing, figuring stuff out, is helping to make it digestible and hoping to ease a lot of the fears of the community. Because I think this is a good thing. The main thing that could be a bad thing is all the bugs that it could cause. And fortunately, there's not anything too crazy. There's a lot of little minor bugs, the stats not calculating properly, and there's some big ones with the campaigns. But I think overall, it's been relatively major bug-free.
Yeah, I mean, the experience so far, you know how like when you get like a new video game or you get like a new toy, even as an adult, we have those moments. Yes. I've been up all night and it hasn't just been like, oh, I got to figure this out. It's been like playing with new toy, having fun. And I think that's the thing is I really am enjoying it.
Yeah, I've been experimenting a lot with different classes and stuff, and you've put together a spreadsheet we're going to go over in just a little bit. But I did want to talk about some of the confusion that the community has. One of the questions that I've been seeing a lot: summons, clones, Mr. Sinister, Dark Phoenix. People are getting confused with the interactions, how the ISO-8 affects these characters. What is the best way to explain this? Very simple for people.
I'll make it really easy. Those stats. If you click on each one of those little columns right there, where the little icons are, so those are the base stats in the matrix.
Got it.
So right now you're getting 4% armor at level 2 and 4% across the board.
Okay.
That will go to your clone or summons.
Okay.
They're gonna get that as a function of the base stat. They're not gonna get anything that's part of the class ability. So like the 10.
So all this stuff right here they'll get, but once we go into the classes, none of this stuff affects summons and clones.
Correct. Now
Okay.
we're gonna do some advanced testing to make sure that is 100% accurate. But from our early testing, it actually does not. It looks like it's just the base stats carrying over.
Got it. Okay, so that's how it interacts. My next question is it better to go wide or deep with your roster? So is it better to get some of your major characters up to level 1 just to get their classes, or is it better to get some of your major teams, some of the teams that you're using a lot, up to level 2, level 3 right in the beginning, and then go back and build up some of your teams? What is your testing telling you so far?
So the idea behind it is you really want to focus on probably in this priority for the majority of the populace is going to be your raid team. Your arena team will be your focus, and then probably war offense, because that's something that you play and you can interact with.
Okay.
Other than that, it's really going to be, if you really want to take your raid team to the next level, adding Iso-8s will give them power. I was able to auto a U7-5 node with ISOs, and I was able to one shot. I was able to one shot the some of the harder nodes in there.
Now, was that full auto? So when this auto thing comes to the game, that you won't be swearing as much when if it doesn't auto it for you.
Well, I mean, I'm probably gonna still swear, but that just goes to the territory.
Nice. All right, so my next question, so probably better to go with your arena. I mean, I like going arena, then my Ultimate 7, and then after that, filling out the rest. Yeah. So you would recommend getting your arena team maybe a level 2, level 3, or just making sure they have all ISO-8 on them, getting their classes, and then moving on to your raid teams and some of your war teams? What level 1, level 2, where would you take these characters?
So level 1 is a really good starting point because you get the base stats. Some of these characters don't unlock the real power of the ISO until level 3. It's going to be kind of character based. We're going to actually add that to like the recommendations on the spreadsheet, so that you can we could say level 3 guideline, early level 3 choice, stuff like that. Just because it's something that that while we compile that data, I mean, I really think that if it's a character you use every day, you can justify a level 3. It would just be prohibitive if you don't have those war teams, because we're already starting to see them on war defense. I don't know if you're fighting a war right now, but we're already seeing them on war defense.
Okay, yeah, I've seen a couple, and you got to pay attention to that. It's not as easy as before. Now, you've mentioned the spreadsheet that you guys are working on. It's a work in progress. A lot of good information up there right now, though. Let's take a look at that. And this is what it is as of us recording. This is different teams that you have the order here. Black Order, obviously the best one here. A little surprised. Yeah. Symbiotes, is this based on the symbiotes now in the game, or is this based on when Anti-Venom and Scream and everybody is in the game? So
we haven't been able to hypothesize it. We're probably gonna adjust that because we didn't have enough downtime to do that. But what we do is every patch we kind of grade them based on that. So the A's on that are how they're performing in categories, as like are they the best meta? Can they beat everything? So we rated that, and that lets us do the next character list, which is if they perform at a 10, they get those default as a depending on what part of the team they are. So this is a collaborative effort. The community gives us feedback on stream. We really talk about this during the whole entire patch, and this evolves over time as we find new and emerging uses for these teams. So like when Wave 1 Avengers came out, they were ranked lower, and we gradually brought them up to where we think that they're a lot better.
Nice. Yeah, I guess we'll see where these guys end up once Anti-Venom is a game. Now, would you say you would focus on specific teams first, or would you go more characters? Because we have another tab in this section rating these characters. Some of them, some A+, some A's, and then the rest go down to B's. So we got Ebony Maw, Black Bolt, Symbiote, Spider-Man, Emma Frost, Phoenix as the A+ categories. Would you go with some of these characters first if you're using them a lot, and then go back and build the rest of their teams? Or or focus on each team and then go back to the different characters within that team?
I guess the thing about it is it really depends on what class you're putting on them. So if you have a raider who basically can put the 10% vulnerability on crit, that would be something like if you have a symbiote Spider-Man, as a raider, and you're using him across like multiple teams.
Yes.
Sure. And again, some of this is geared towards a little bit later games. Some of this impact, we'll go over this, might be better off early game, and we can really kind of really hit on that too. But really quickly, the bottom line is I like building teams because of the interaction. How they interact as a team is really the key.
Yeah,
So
a lot of it is you need certain classes of characters on each team. You need
Right.
someone that's going to get that vulnerable. You need someone that's going to take advantage of it, and then maybe fortifier or healer if they need it. But you definitely need someone that's going to get that vulnerable on there and someone that could take advantage of it.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So these are the classes. You guys can take a look at this. The link will be down below. It is being updated constantly as more and more data comes in. But this is where it is as of us speaking now. Let's go back into the game because I did want to talk about the different classes mentioned here. Let's go into Ebony Maw real quick because that's the only character to have at level 2 right now. We have these different classes, and I want to get some of your picks for some of these top picks that you could upgrade, or maybe it's just based on the team. So if you had to go striker, what are you looking for when you're building up your striker or giving a character the striker class?
The striker is basically is a character that either benefits from the attack that they're getting throughout there. So remember, you're going to get a high attack percentage from that. So characters who typically don't crit with abilities like bleeds. Okay. So like your symbiotes may have a lot more strikers because they're going to power up those bleeds and make them insurmountable, right? And then the other thing about it is, or somebody who has a ability on their, if you ever look at the assist/counter. Okay. In the MSF.GG, if they have an ability on that, they do that on the ISO-8 extra attack. So that is so it's actually kind of a unique ability.
Okay, so striker, I guess I'm thinking Black Bolt maybe.
Yeah, Black Bolt's a great striker.
Any other strikers stand out to you that people should be prioritizing if they're using them a lot in the game?
I think once the whole team's out there, probably you can probably justify Carnage, and you could probably justify. I'm sorry, Venom, because Venom will flip another 3 buffs.
Got it. I like it. Symbiotes. That's what I'm building up right now. Anyway, let's move on to Fortifier. This one seems a little weird to me, and I'm gonna have to open this up when we view this. 10,000 barrier. That doesn't seem like a lot. Now this one, when it gets to level 3, you're getting 3%, which is better. But are there any recommendations for Fortifier now at the level 1?
So I think Fortifier is actually really cool for new players. And when you unlock this system, that 10,000 is something that doesn't scale at the end game. Yeah. But for a newer player, 10,000 could be the difference between winning an arena or a war fight or that. So remember that. So that Fortifier on like a relatively 65 to 70 character is going to be a lot more than the 75s.
Yeah. So who would you recommend for this? I'm probably a level 3. I'm thinking Strife maybe.
So level 5, you can put it on anybody you want to survive that maybe takes an extra hit. You can put it on somebody with a lot of hit points that'll generate that extra barrier. Somebody who's hard to kill. Somebody who's not filling their barrier on turn. So there are characters like Strife does fill his barrier on turn pretty regularly. So this will help. But it isn't. It is a little prohibitive because you'll cap pretty quickly. Okay,
I was just thinking more. He gets barrier, maybe more barriers. So, but tanks, or maybe your damage dealers if they don't have enough health. If once at level 3 because they're getting a little.
Fortifier is probably my least favorite, but there's definitely options for them as you go to higher levels.
I think this was % in the beta, but it's a flat number now.
Couple of changes, and I think I like this better than the beta because it rounds out as you build it up.
With this percentage at these.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's move on to healer. A lot of people getting this healer tag. You're getting active healing, minor regeneration. Can you explain the difference? What is active healing?
Yeah, so active healing is anything that isn't regeneration or drain. So your passive like heals and stuff like that are happening. But it's so like Minerva's passive is an active healing, even though it says it's from her passive. But it's something that's not reflective of another skill, not dependent on another skill triggering.
Okay, so and I actually did this one for Ebony Maw. I'm gonna get it back here. But with other characters that would be in this healer class, would you go with your traditional healers like Sinister, Ebony Maw, maybe Shuri, or other characters would benefit from this?
There's a couple of schools of thought. The faster a character is, the more they benefit their team. So like a character like Scream right now, she's also healing the team. So remember, she gets that heal. So I made her a healer until we get our our next symbiote. Yeah. But for now, that was what helped me actually hit auto on some of these U7.5 nodes, and I was shocked to see how this actually worked. So characters like maybe like an X-23 in certain environments, if you're if you're struggling with Asgardians and you tend to find that your early burst damage looks great, but then suddenly they come back and you get destroyed, then putting healer on X-23, she takes 2 or 3 early turns and you've got regen stacked up on your team. So there's a lot of little, and that's why I love this, is there's a lot of, and she also has a huge health pool. Yeah. And so for me, that's why I love this.
There's so much experimentation, and once you do these initial costs for these ions, it costs you nothing to switch between these different classes. But you know, like some of these at the higher levels, a little prohibitive, like you said. Skirmisher, this one is interesting. On primary hit, applying vulnerable. So these next two are the ones that apply vulnerable. What does a primary hit mean?
So it's just the target that you're focusing at the time. So it won't do an AoE. So it isn't applying it to the whole team. So you just have to know that if you're targeting a character, it'll be that first hit.
Okay, so if I'm using Thanos and I got his AoE, it's going to be only the character that he has targeted, not the rest of the team?
Correct.
Got it. Okay.
So then, go ahead.
Who do you like for this? Who do you like for the Skirmisher?
So this is actually really cool because a lot of times you can put it on a character. So believe it or not, I like Ebony Maw with that one. And I've actually because his special and his ult will put it on a target and will actually apply vulnerable, and so that'll let you kind of move other characters to striker. So again, there's really cool elements to it. So skirmishers, something like the Miss Marvel or people who assist, because they do get that, and we can probably, that's a whole nother conversation for like advanced ISO-8. But
yeah, we'll go to the basics right now. Maybe another one we do more advanced.
Yeah, but I honestly I love the system so much. But yeah, skirmisher is that you want to just get that early vulnerable on a target and get it for the rest of the team, but it's only on a single hit.
Okay. Yeah, and then we're getting multiple hits possible with Raider, and this one seems like it's based on crit. So I guess the characters that crit a lot will get this, and this one can apply vulnerable to multiple targets, correct?
Yeah. So rule of thumb for me is just basically anytime you hit more than 3 targets, you're basically gonna have a high chance to crit at its highest level, and it applies vulnerable, and I love it a lot. It is the best, and especially characters that have multiple hits in there. Okay. So Crystal, Mystique. Characters that get hit multiple times have multiple opportunities to crit and apply vulnerable on a target.
I'm thinking Killmonger for this.
Oh yeah,
one.
Killmonger with this one with this built-in crit, and gives him that. And it's funny because Wakanda was built, in my opinion, for ISOs way back in the day. If they had come out with ISOs, this team would have been the best raid team.
If only this was like a year earlier, people would have given all that Wakanda hate.
I'm glad we didn't see what they had the first time. I don't know.
That first iteration of the tester was not very fun. Let me ask you something about this one, because I saw this, the extra crit damage, extra crit chance. I thought Corvus Glaive, but on his basic, he also is very, very good Proximo. So where are you leaning right now with Corvus Glaive? Raider or with this Skirmisher winning all these basics?
Honestly, this is one of those scenarios where it's up for debate, and I think it's going to be what you're facing. And so I'm currently leaning towards Skirmisher, but Raider is also a great choice because it just he spends a lot of his time in stealth.
Yes.
So when any character drops below 50% health, he stealths, and so that bonus damage that he gets is pretty powerful.
I guess like you said, it does depend on the team that you're facing, because both do make sense, especially.
And that's the thing is the list is a guideline, and it all depends. Once you get used to it, you're going to find choices that are better for you, I think.
And depending on the opponents you're going on, if you were to build a team with these, what classes would you have? I mean, you obviously need at least one Skirmisher or Raider, maybe one Striker. Ideally, where would you want these placed out of the 5 members of your team?
So I think about the first thing is, can the team sustain itself?
Okay.
And is that one of the things they struggle with? Do they need a healer?
So you look for that. That's the first thing you look for in the team.
Do I ever wish they had a healer?
Okay.
And so then I sometimes will consider healer as an option. Then I want to make sure that as many characters are marked and taking the 10% damage. So I've got to figure either Skirmisher or Raider, depending on that. And then I've got to figure out who my damage dealers are and if I want them to be either striker or raider.
Okay. So at least one striker, possibly healer, and then someone to apply vulnerable depending on the composition of the team. Yeah.
So I mean, so like a loose rule of thumb, because this is actually changed. The characters don't follow these guidelines. Blaster and brawlers usually are heavy considered for striker or raider. The skirmisher are typically controllers, that element, and then your healers will either have some component where they're healing or have a heal effect, and then your fortifiers are typically your tanks or high health pools or targets that are, as you get to higher levels that are softer and easy to burst down.
All right, and a couple things I want to ask you before you go. I know you bought all of these offers to test them out, and you've had a lot of help through the community to get all of these offers, and some of these look more appealing than others. Which ones would you say have the best value if players are looking to spend money? And then we'll go to these ions and see if they have some value there for some free-to-play players.
Yeah, so one of the cool things is one of the members of the community, YulTidebringer, he actually built a spreadsheet. So the calendar by far has the best value, and typically we see those from a lot of the offers. Okay. The calendars do have the better offers for it, because all that energy just lets you accumulate a lot of resources. And then surprisingly, it was the 50, the 25.
50 right here. Okay, it should have the best value because it's the most expensive. Then the 25. All right, so it goes down as you're getting lower.
But then the 5 and then the 10.
Okay, so this one is the worst value right here. This 10, this 5 is a little better than that one.
Correct.
Okay. If you're looking to spend money. Now, if you're looking to spend some in-game resources, should players be spending these ions right here for these? I mean, I got a lot in my economy right now, but we know the cost goes up as you level these. Should people be buying these right now? Are these worth it for them?
I don't think you should sit on that resource, especially if it lets you kind of build what you need to go.
You're talking the ions, don't sit on the ions.
The ions, because for now, it's not prohibitive. It's really, if you start thinking about like right now, it should be. I'm thinking level 1, level 2, maybe a couple characters level 3. Okay. But when you start thinking of taking characters to level 4 and level 5, you're going to want to start shifting your ion spending.
So I should buy all of these right now.
Yeah, why not?
I'm doing it live. So the last thing I wanted to talk about is some bugs, and there have been some bugs that were already announced. Now there's a big bug with the campaigns. If it's looking for the campaign energy instead of the Iso-8 campaign energy. So make sure you have that if you're doing it for the first time. Apparently, if you're simming it, it does not have that issue though. And then one last issue: if you check to lock this for war defense, you need to uncheck this if you want to switch. Any other bugs that you're experiencing?
So that's uncheck them, and then you got to reset the defense.
Yeah, uncheck it, reset the defense, and then go back and check it again. Correct?
Yeah. So far, I mean, as far as bugs go, there's some minor things. They fixed some major ones like the death proof with Black Bolt. There's still that residual UI mechanic where some of the buffs don't fall off correctly, or debuffs like bleeds are still stuck on there. The immunity bug's still on there, and we're still trying to figure out, that we really would love to see that fixed, especially now that this element is here in implementation. I'd hope they would put that as a priority. It's definitely a user experience issue.
Cool. Well, guys, if there's any other bugs that you want the devs aware of, make sure you leave it in the comments. And that is all I got right now, except for the basics of Iso-8. Maybe later on do a more advanced video, but hopefully this helps you guys get started. Anything else you want to add, Remanx?
So it's a living document, guys. If you guys want to give some feedback, we welcome it. This is really a community effort. Thank you to Panzer Hulk. Thank you to Cabal. Thank you to all the folks that were part of the beta test that said, hey, let's make sure that this is something the community can digest. So before this information went live, we basically collaborated behind the scenes to try to make sure it was something that was we can give some decent direction. Again, obviously, you'll see every night I'm testing something new that a viewer wants me to test, and that's what we do here on Twitch. And Valley, thanks for having me, man. I'm glad we finally got a chance to do this.
Coming on. Thank you for compiling all this information and getting some of the preliminary tests that some people are wondering what they should do, at least at the start. And then, like you said, this living document is always going to be updated. And if you're not sure what to do, you just want to all right, this is what I'm going to put it in, not have to think about it. I think these are the best recommendations. And then, you know, if you're a little more into theory crafting, you could make some determinations based on what you're doing and some of your opponents.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you're into theory crafting, stop by my channel. Your discussion is always welcome. We're here to talk it out.
A lot of positivity, no negativity on your channel. The links will be down below. Anything else you want to promote before you go, brother?
No, I think this is it, man. I really appreciate your time, and you guys, like I said, I know it's felt like it was bad, but I think it's really positively being received by the community, and I hope you guys feel like you can ask us questions as we go on.
Yes, so leave your questions. You can leave them in the comments. You could go to Remanx, ask him directly. He is the direct source for this ISO-8 information, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you check out the channel. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a subscribe, a like, all that good stuff. Leave a comment, and I will see you guys next time. Links that support the channel are down below, as well as the Remanx links. Before you go, give me a Hulk fist bump, brother. All right. Oh, our forearm. ValleyFlyin Remanx out.
I punched it right through. There it is.